your skit, be sure to be used for the upcoming church. And turn services now over to Brother Jim.
It's good for us all to be in the house of God. There's no greater place. I want to address this sermon today. Probably there's three categories of people. To our young people, you're now in the forming stages of your life. There are situations out there now that you can get yourself in, and you can be entrapped in that for the rest of your life. Try to stay with friends that have good morals, good values, that keep themselves straight and depend upon nothing but their God-given life that He's given. Stay with those people. Stay away from people who would mislead you. Look at their life and see if that's what you want to do with yours. And if you're not a Christian this morning and you have reached the age in your teens, know full well that you are accountable to God. Let that sink in deeply. Because there's people your age that are taken from this earth on a daily basis. And none of us are immune to our final destination. To the people caught in the middle now, you have lived enough life. You should be able to deal with the things that you're going through if you're strengthened by the love of God, and there will be changes in your life. Make sure that you have a good foundation, or else you will collapse. And to our elderly, I told a young man the other day, listen to your elderly people. They've made more mistakes than you have. We've lived life, and I hope that all of us can look back on it and say it's been good. We tried to do some good things. We tried to help people. We tried to direct them in paths that would be good for them. And the sad part about it, you know about humanity? Some will listen, some will obey, and some will leave this earth never changed. And that's sad. I saw that in my lifespan of time. That's horrible. To know that we've got something better ahead of us if we love the Lord and we obey Him. And it doesn't matter what you think about it or you have some other plan. Except it suits and fits the plan of God and His commandments, you cannot enter heaven. Doesn't matter what your mind tells you that you have to do or you don't have to do. That has nothing to do with it. God has spoken. He said, I am that I am. He said, I never change. I'm the same yesterday and forever. The God that, I'm going to read just a few verses here from the book of Psalms. Listen to this. How our generation, how our people, how our country are sliding daily and daily into immorality. Jefferson once said, he said, democracy will only work for a moral people. And I have people telling me every day, Jimmy, they're passing laws. Well, we need to straighten up. If you don't have any laws, you have anarchy. I was trying to think of any laws that's been passed that weren't justified. You say, well, I can think of one or two. Abortion. Why did they pass that law? Because there were so many people wanting to do it. We have brought these things upon ourselves. This nation, whatever lies in front of us, will be justified because we have left God, we have left His teachings, and therefore we have sown to the whirlwind, or the wind, and we're reaping a whirlwind today. And God bless you this morning if you're sitting in this house and your sins are under the blood of Christ. You hang tough because there's better times are coming. And if you haven't, you have got a problem. You have got a problem. You may have sailed through this life, but at the end, when the trump of God sounds, you've got a problem. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me will never die. Do you believe that? I believe it this morning with all of my heart. That's all I've got left. I've saw sorrow in my life. You saw sorrow in your life. You have had these things happen. What have you got left? You don't have anything left. And that's what's before all of us this morning. I encourage people to get an education, but your intellect will not save you. The intellect that comes from the teaching of man will never change your mindset. It will never change your eternal destination with God. That can only be settled with the one who made you and created you. As I finish this sermon this morning to the Christian, I want to speak to you directly this morning and say, what's the biggest problem you've got in your life that separates you from being totally committed to God? What is that one thing? And whatever it is, you need to get it out of the way. If you're sitting here and you've never committed your life to Christ, what is that one big thing? Is it doctrinal teachings that you don't believe that you have to do what Jesus said to be saved? What is it that is in your life that would separate you from the love of God? We look for peace and contentment in this life. People turn to drugs. People turn to alcohol and they get a buzz, and guess what? It comes right back the next morning, and the fury is increased and increased until we get to where we're totally dependent upon it. What is that thing in your life that separates you from the love of Christ? Think on these things as we continue. In Psalms 19, David wrote, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all of the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom cometh out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. There is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Verse 7. We blame people for our conditions in life. We blame people for our positions in life. We don't want to look at ourselves and blame ourselves. Let's look at it a minute. Our country's in a terrible condition. We are being turned against each other. The rich against the poor, and the poor against the rich. And we're a divided nation, and it has cause and purpose. That is not random. It is done for a specific purpose. We used to turn out representatives that you voted for, and they were diplomats, and they were statements, and now all we're turning out is a bunch of children that want to bicker and fight while this nation goes down the tube. What has happened to us? The mindset, evil has creeped in, and we have that mindset that we're no longer responsible. Somebody else made me do it or something.
The Bible speaks of a people, a generation that's unthankful and unholy. And brother, we're either at the fringe or we're going straight into it. In my lifetime, I have seen people come and want a job, and you help them get it, and the next thing you know, they're bickering and complaining about the hours or about this or that, and you know it's the truth. Every one of you know it's the truth. You have saw it happen. A thankful and unholy nation. I'm talking about people that has the mindset that has not been changed by God. There's not going to be a change. It's going to grow worse and worse and stronger and stronger. Our mindset this morning has everything to do with whether if we're successful, we need to thank others for it because somebody helped us along the line. I hate it when a man says to me, I'm a self-made man. There are no such animal as a self-made man. You're a product of your parents, your teaching, your occupation, or whatever. You are a product of that comes out. And so it is with being a Christian. We are a product of God. We are made and molded in the image of His likeness. No wonder He told Nicodemus, He said, you must be born again. That's not being preached in our churches anymore. It just says, just believe it. Just believe it. I'm going to tell you, unless God comes into your heart and He changes your mindset, you may go along for a while and we may come to the end of our journey. And He says, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. I never knew you. You never had a mindset. You hadn't been converted. You hadn't been changed. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. I like to say what David said when David went through all of those things. You think about what that man went through, and yet the Bible said that he was a man after God's own heart. He said, create in me, O Lord, a new heart. Give me a new mindset. Help me to think different. Help me to love people. Help me to not to be so picky about things. We're running out of time. Everybody that's sitting in this room, you're running out of time. Life is too short to be miserable. Life is too short to have a bad attitude. Verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect. Perfect. Converting the soul. Now right there is the key. The Bible said the soul that sinneth shall die. But the soul that has been converted or changed by the power of God will live eternally and be immortal. The soul must be converted. It must be changed. Converting the soul, the testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. I saw some of our great teachers, men who lead, and they're dumb. They're dumb. They're intellectually smart beyond any comparison. But in their inner person, in their soul, they are dumb as the animal they are. Brother Dan and I, we get together and talk occasionally, Tom. Let me tell you what's happening to us. We lost a generation in the 60s. I can remember that. That's when it started. Now, there were some good people come out of the 60s. But the mass of them were corrupted beyond measure. And those same people now sit in seats of power. They sit in the high seats of your universities and your institutions of higher learning. Could we expect any less? How many good movies have you saw lately? I see heads shaking, number one. You know why? Look at those movies and see what they are. Those movies come out of somebody's thinking. They come out of their mindset. And they're horrible. They're violent. They're sexual. Those are where the mindset is that produces the script that these actors act out. We lost that 60s generation. And we're still trying to recover from it. I don't think we can afford to lose another one. I think if we do, we're beyond help. Verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect. What he tells us to do, that's his law. It's perfect. It'll work. Converting the soul. That's the whole purpose for preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. Know you not as many of us were baptized into Christ have put on Christ? Have you been baptized for the remission of sin? If not, you got a problem. Are you remaining faithful unto death? If you're not, you got a problem. The Bible said the well need not a physician. I don't need Doc Frederick except to be a friend until I get sick. And when I get sick, I go to him and he gives me a remedy. Now it's up to me whether I take it or not. A good physician will tell you, yes, that a lifestyle has a lot to do with your sicknesses and your illnesses. We should listen to the great physician of the Bible. The Bible said that the whole soul or body is rotted. That's what's wrong with our world. Are there good people in it? Absolutely. If it wasn't God would fold this thing up today just like that. He would fold it up. What reason would he have to leave it? But for his people and those that are yet to come into the kingdom of God. That's the sole reason. I hear people degrade Christians today. Let a disaster strike. Who do they go to? They go to the Christian. If they get hungry, where do they go? They go to the Christians. Because Christians love and Christians give. I've saw too much of it in the last year in this very place. People that take 2 or 3 weeks out of their life and come to help somebody they don't even know. The next time you hear somebody curse a Christian, tell them don't do it. You may just need them. That's the devil at work in our system today. He works in that system. He doesn't exclude anybody. He doesn't even exclude the Christians. He'll say, look. We need to say, what did Jesus say? Somebody tell me. What did he tell Satan in these temptations? Somebody tell me. Get the hands behind me, Satan. And we need to do the same thing. In verse 8 he said, the statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart, the mind. Keep in mind. It's not the pump, it's the mind. Rejoicing the heart, the commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean. I talk to people today and I see t-shirts that says no fear. Yeah, and I've talked to some of those same people that when they went out of control in an automobile or something, the first thing they cried was, oh God. Or when they were on their deathbed and you go talk to them, oh God. That's a lie that is hypocritical to say there is no fear of God. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Now, if you want to classify yourself as a fool, that's fine. If you want your granddaddy and your grandmother and them on back to be monkeys, I don't have a problem with that, but you got one. I'm made in the image and likeness of God. I have a mindset. I have an inner person. I have a soul. I have those things that are God-given, not given of human creation, but given of God when He breathed in the breath of life. Ah, how foolish have people become. If you was a parent, here you go, I don't know whether to use this illustration or not. How many times would you tell your child, don't do that, do this? And we go a long time with it. We have. But sooner or later, we draw the line and say, you're on your own. And that's exactly the way God operates. He said, I've told you time and again, I've sent men to preach unto you, and you wouldn't listen. He said, now I'm done. We can sit in church and we can listen to sermons and we can reason and reject and justify and this until we begin to believe that, and when we do, He said, I'll let you do that exactly. I'll let you believe a lie and be damned. Think about it. The mindset of humanity. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired of they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. And I'm going to quit right there. In keeping of those things, the Bible said there is great reward. Not in this life. I have no idea what's coming in the next hour, and you don't either. You know that. You don't even know what's going to happen the next hour. Now that's pretty fragile, folks. That's pretty fragile. But we need to have our mind changed. And it's just not something we go through or a method or something. I'm talking about a real change inside. When your eyes no longer see the same way they used to. Where your ears do not function the way they used to. Where there is no hate in your heart, but understanding for those that are near. That's true conversion. We're going to stand now and we're going to sing a song. And it says, give me thy heart. That's all God wants. Everything else He can take care of. And everything else He will take care of. And if you're here today and not a Christian, please consider those things. Please consider your situation. We know whether we've obeyed the Lord or not. We know what we've heard. We know what we believe. We know if we've changed or repented in our heart. Have you ever confessed Him before men as the Son of God? Have you been baptized for the remission of sin? Are you living on a daily basis for the Lord? Those are questions that we need to answer. Together we stand and say.